Hey guys, the Google Pixel 3 is here, and in this video I'd like to compare Google's latest creation, the actually kind of adorable and much better looking in person Google Pixel 3 XL versus Apple's large iPhone XS Max. Now I was actually surprised how similar these devices are in person in terms of size. You can mistake one for the other in your pocket. The Google Pixel 3 XL does not have the dual lens camera. It does have the notch on the front now, and I might add that Apple's looks much more handsome. It doesn't seem to take up as much room and is much more elegant. Not only that, on the bottom you now have a chin area on the Pixel 3 XL, but aside from the design, which I personally do not like too much, let's see if it makes up for it in performance. So let's put Google's newest phone through its paces. The iPhone XS Max I've already tested. It turns out it's actually the fastest phone I've ever speed tested on this channel. Specs are very similar here. Apple's processor is the newer one, 7nm, but both do have 4GB of RAM. And just an observation I made, Android has never looked more similar to iOS, or maybe it's vice versa, than ever before. Android 9.0 has a very similar gesture interface, and I'm very excited to test that out here. Now, Google didn't do too well with the Pixel 2 on my speed test. Let's see if the 3 will be any better. So both of these are updated on their newest firmwares, and all of them cleared out in the app switcher. We're going to start with the day-to-day usage test, where we basically launch applications one after another, see which one can get through them faster. I'm going to start with the social media stuff, and this is where I noticed this right away. The Pixel has very long, drawn-out animations. Considering they have total control over what they can do with the operating system, I'm kind of confused why they would leave that delay there. They should launch apps much faster, like the OnePlus series. But anyways, it does get through them, just a lot slower because of the animation. And in general, I'm just not feeling the fluidity that I do with other Android phones, which surprises me so much considering this is supposed to be Google's flagship. And I really do hope that with time they do optimize it, update it, but right now it's far from a perfect product. Even Apple's latest iPhone XS Max was more optimized on release, and of course it will get better with time, but just a little disappointed here from Google. So at this point, the iPhone XS Max is pulling ahead, still a couple applications in the lead. It seems to load the heavier stuff a little bit better. The animation certainly help on the Pixel 3, they're drawn out, so that adds to the time. But at this point, the iPhone XS Max has received some support from applications, so some of these have been updated and might be running better than before even. In my earlier speed test, here I'm already on San Andreas, we're still on Mario Run, just now opening Asphalt 9 on the Pixel 3 XL. Now, I personally believe that both of these smartphones should have at least 6GB of RAM. Both on Apple's end and Google's, it's an interesting choice to just put 4 because most smartphones nowadays have at the very minimum 6 to 8, well, I mean Android smartphones, and I think the iPhone XS Max could certainly use that, even with the great optimization and all. But anyways, at this point, you can see how far ahead the iPhone has pulled. It's already on the last test here with the 4K 1 minute and 30-second video, the same one I always use. And the Apple A12 Bionic just powers through it. It's amazing. Absolutely love that. And I know most of us aren't editing, exporting 4K video on the daily, but it's one of the iPhone XS Max's strengths, and it certainly does show here. So the iPhone is just about done with round 1, just needs to save the video. Meanwhile, the Pixel 3 is still many applications behind. Now, I wanted to point something out about the Pixel. In my short time using it, something I didn't like about it is just how dim the display is. Surprisingly, way dimmer than any other Android phone, dimmer than the iPhone. It's just something unusual because most Android phones do have brighter displays than the iPhone, so I was a little surprised by that. Anyways, the iPhone XS Max finishes with round 1, 2 minutes and 23 seconds. Now, the applications at the very beginning have been cleared out of the app switcher, and the same thing happened on the first version, iOS 12.0. Highly doubt that there's a difference, just one version apart, but hopefully that does get better with time. Minecraft is the cutoff application where all of the apps were loaded after that, which is very nice. So they were still there. You can go back to even some of the heavy stuff like Grand Theft Auto. The iPhone XS Max just breezed through round 2. Everything past Minecraft was loaded, so that certainly helped with the time, and that's a new winner. Round 2 is 32 seconds for the iPhone XS Max. Very, very impressive, better than the initial speed test that I did on it. And about time, so the Google Pixel 3 finishes round 1 with 3 minutes and 48 seconds. That's honestly really, really bad. I'd expect that from a phone about 2 years ago, but for modern smartphones, that's pretty bad, according to this test. And if you really think about it, I'm not doing anything crazy. I'm just launching apps, closing them in quick succession, but the Google Pixel 3 is struggling at it. So all of the applications on round 2 needed to be reloaded. The OS completely cleared it out, and that might be some new optimizations with Android 9, but definitely did not like that. If you do something heavy, play a heavy game, then go back into your other apps, they're going to be cleared out and missing. So I hope that that's fixed in a software update. And because it needed to reload all of the applications, it finished with a round 2 time of 3 minutes. That's pretty bad. All right, and there we have it. So the results a bit surprising here, considering it's using the same processor as many of the other top Android phones I've tested. It does so much worse than those. I don't understand. Meanwhile, the iPhone XS Max seems to do better on the multitasking now that it's been updated to iOS 12.1, and that should only continue to improve in the future. Definitely seems to make do with that 4 gigabytes of RAM a little bit better. All right, so let's go ahead and clear the app switchers and get down to business with all these specs and individual app launching so we can get a better idea of how they compare side by side instead of this real world test. I'm going to start off with a power up test. So this is essentially Android 9.0 versus iOS 12.0.1 in a boot up test. 3, 2, 1, and pressing power on both. Interesting choice in the power button color for Google here, but a very optimized version of Android. I'm loving it. Feels great. Wow, that was like ridiculously fast. I think that's the fastest phone I've ever seen turn on. Crazy. So yeah, that totally just destroyed the iPhone in boot up times. Hey, that's good. I like it when other phones beat the iPhone. It means it has some catching up to do. Okay, let's go ahead and with a cleared app switcher, start launching some apps. Snapchat, 1, 2. I did notice like a crazy delay in some of the apps. That one seems pretty even here. Let's try Instagram, 1, 2. Look at that. Even the animation is faster on the iPhone, but it loads faster on the Pixel, huh? Camera, 1, 2. These are different camera apps, but the iPhone's is ready to take pictures faster here. 1, 2. That is ready, displaying information already much faster than Google's version. What's up with that? Photoshop Express, 1, 2. I don't like that hang when you launch an app and it hangs and then opens. And a large image exporting at the same time here, 1, 2, 3. iPhone got that one down considerably faster. And a Minecraft, 1, 2. So it seems to launch things almost immediately, gives you a satisfying response, but this one loaded on the Pixel faster. Interesting. Okay, 1, 2. And loading the actual world. iPhone progress bar filled up faster and did load faster as well here. Asphalt 9, 1, 2. It's a very large game. Getting the hang here. And it's been out on the iPhone about the same time as the Android version, so optimizations should pretty much be even. Very large game. Oh wow, the Pixel beat it out. I'm so confused. Getting conflicting, very interesting results once I'm launching them side by side here. And Netflix, 1, 2. Okay, so loaded faster on the Pixel. Very interesting results. All right, so let's go ahead and get some actual numbers here with a Geekbench. Okay, so here's the Geekbench results. Unfortunately, the iPhone XS Max is having a bad day. Usually the scores are higher as they can get up to 11,000, but still pretty formidable. 47, 46 here, 4762 on the original, almost 10,000 multi. On the Pixel though, we have a 5,616 multi and a 1,226 single core. So I don't know what it is, but the scores are pretty low on both. Anyways, let's go ahead and run an Antutu and get a graphical performance idea. And wow, look at that. So a very close Antutu benchmark score. Let's break it down here. So CPU, the iPhone has the advantage. GPU, apparently the Pixel 3 has the advantage, and so on. So very, very close here. And on the same internet, interestingly enough, the iPhone maxed out the Wi-Fi speed test to a further extent over the Pixel 3. So that's pretty good, I guess, but both are pretty high where you're not really going to notice it. All right, next up, let's test out biometrics. Apple's Face ID versus Pixel's fingerprint sensor on the back. So you get used to placing it there. Still pretty convenient, much faster usually versus facial recognition. And unfortunately, the Pixel does not come with facial recognition. So there's really no reason to have such a crazy notch other than the cameras. But anyways, here we go. So with both locked in 3, 2, 1. Yeah, no question, the Pixel with the fingerprint sensor is way faster here. And once again, 1, 2, 3, and yeah, definitely no question, way faster on the Pixel. There's definitely something very nice about having a fingerprint sensor, and eventually, hopefully the iPhone gets it beneath the display in the future, because that would be the ultimate convenience. And I just wanted to mention prices. Prices on all smartphones are going up, but I genuinely don't believe that the Google Pixel 3 is worth $900. Maybe $750, $800 at most, but the iPhone XS Max I think could be $100 cheaper as well. Otherwise, guys, there it is, the speed comparison between the Pixel and the iPhone XS Max. Gotta say, I'm not too impressed with the RAM and the multitasking on the Pixel, just how it handles itself, but the iPhone with the same 4 gigabytes still does a pretty dang good job, better than the Pixel that is. Overall though, quite fast, just not up to the standard that most Android smartphones are at right now. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for more. Peace.